Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 7. And for this video, we have an interesting teaser to go over, and this is coming from Danielle Nicolette herself, who obviously plays none other than Cecile Horton on the show. And let's just say she teased a couple of interesting things in regards to returning characters for this season, as well as possibly time travel playing a part as well. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so a couple of days ago there was this virtual event which goes by the name ComicCon Experience Sao Paulo, and pretty much this is just a normal virtual Comic-Con panel for both Marvel and DC stuff. However, we were expecting like a couple of teasers and trailers for like other stuff, such as like the Suicide Squad movie, maybe a trailer for the Spider-Man 3 movie, something like that. But we did also have like TV show panels as well. We had the Batwoman panel and a Flash panel. And there was actually a possibility that we would have seen a new Flash Season 7 trailer during this event, since there was a Flash panel over there. And obviously that did not turn out to happen. They ended up playing the same DC Fandome trailer for this panel. But in regards to the Flash, we had two of the cast members attend this panel. So we obviously had Danielle Nicolette, who I said obviously plays Cecile Horton on the show, and we had Victoria Park, who plays Camilla. Now during this panel they were obviously asked things about the Flash, and since the season isn't out yet, they couldn't really say much in regards to what we should expect. However, Danielle Nicolette was asked the question during this panel about the Flash Season 7, and whether or not it will include like time travel or something like that, something along those lines. I don't really know the question that much, but seeing from her response, that looks like to be a question, something about time travel. But Danielle Nicolette responds, "You know, we're not allowed to tell you secrets about the season, but I will say I think it's a reasonable assumption that, yeah, we will always have time travel on some level happening. I mean, I can tell you guys this. There are going to be some favorites from the past, some bad guy favorites that may be paying a visit or two this season. So I'll leave it up to you to speculate on how they're going to get to us." Okay, so this is really interesting, because over here from what Danielle Nicolette has teased, it looks like we're going to be getting time travel playing a part this season for the Flash. And as she rightly pointed out, we do tend to get some time travel episodes here and there across the show, and they're always very exciting. But then she starts to mention that she can't talk much about like the time travel aspects of things, and she cannot just talk about the overall season in general. However, she does confirm that we will be seeing some of our favorite villains paying a visit or two this season. So could the time travel possibly be a nod to those surprise characters returning in the same time? Who knows? Now, unfortunately, we don't really know which villains it is that she is talking about. However, since the question is time travel related and she responds with that response that she gave, you'd kind of expect some sort of like time traveler showing up. So a speedster could also show up here and there as well. And also, who else would be our favorite villains other than the iconic speedster villains we have on the show? Now, a while back as well, like a couple of months ago, I'm gonna say, we had the teaser from showrunner Eric Wallace himself about what we should be expecting this season. And he does also mention that this season will be heavily speedster orientated, and that they will dive deeper with the speedster mythology, something along those lines. So from linking what Eric Wallace has said over here to what Danielle Nicolette is saying right now, could it be that we are actually getting returning speedsters to pop up here and there for this season? Now, obviously this surprise character is not going to be Reverse Flash, as he's already in our present Earth Prime timeline, and we also do know that he would be popping up in the season sometime already, since we are supposed to see that Reverse Flash cliffhanger play out. So this won't be too much of a surprise seeing Reverse Flash as well, although he is like one of our favorite villains. Well, he is my favorite villain. It would be really cool to see Reverse Flash show up. However, it won't really be a surprise if he does show up. She did say surprise favorite, so it probably won't be Reverse Flash, although she could be talking about Reverse Flash as well. We don't know for sure. Now, another villain that could appear is potentially that of Zoom as well. That would be insane to see Zoom, because this villain, he's just such a badass. He's so frightening, and it'll just be awesome to see him again. I know a lot of people prefer Zoom over like the Reverse Flash and stuff, and don't get me wrong, I do totally understand why. This guy is just an absolute badass. So last we saw of Zoom was obviously during the 100th episode of The Flash, which was season 5 episode 8, titled What's Past's Prologue. And over here we saw Zoom chasing after future Barry through the time stream until he obviously gets sucked and taken back into his own timeline due to the time wraith pulling him out of the time stream. So obviously things ended up in a quite weird way, and people were really interested to see how this would have affected the current season 2 timeline after that happened. There's obviously no way that Zoom didn't notice that that was a future version of Barry. So maybe we could have a storyline of Zoom showing up due to like a time travel incident by Barry. Now, the only issue of this would be the whole quarantine thing, because they do have restrictions due to the pandemic. However, I am sure that if Teddy Sears has any opportunity to return as Zoom, he'd do it in a heartbeat, regardless of how long he has to quarantine compared to how long he has to film. If he is able to do it, I am sure that he will be willing to return as Zoom. Now, another surprise villain we could potentially see is that of Savitar. Now, since the episode 4 or 5 set photos, I can't really remember which episode it was, that were obviously taken by Canada Graphs, we knew that there was this massive CGI dummy on set. And this CGI dummy is the exact same design they used for the Bloodwork design back in season 6 episode 8. However, there was also speculation saying that this could potentially be Savitar as well, because Savitar is also a huge villain, and back in The Flash season 3 he was mostly CGI as well. So there was a chance that this dummy on set could also be Savitar, and also he was seen alongside Abracadabra as well, and we do know that Abracadabra did refer to Savitar during The Flash season 3, so maybe we could see Savitar as well. And this, in the other hand, wouldn't be too hard, because Savitar is obviously played by Grant Gustin, who obviously plays the Flash, so there won't be any like quarantine issues or anything like that. So he could just easily show up if he was to make some sort of an appearance, as Grant Gustin would be on set by that time. Personally though, I don't see this happening, since midway into season 3 they actually built a Savitar suit for set instead of CGI, since CGI does tend to get a lot complicated usually, and since The Flash isn't that high budget, it's a pretty low budget show, it is kind of hard to always put like CGI and stuff like that. So they did actually build a suit for Savitar midway into season 3, so I don't see why they won't use that Savitar suit that they built and they use CGI instead. That just won't make sense. Apart from the fact that the CGI version of Savitar looked way better than the suit design look for Savitar, I don't get why they won't just use the suit design if it was to be Savitar. Now, one surprise villain that we also know would be returning to The Flash season 7 is that of Abracadabra, and we would be exploring his like new Earth Prime timeline and how that plays out as well. And we do know that Abracadabra is from the future as well, and he is a time traveler himself, so maybe when she was referring to time travel and like returning characters, she could also be talking in regards to Abracadabra as well. So Danielle Nicolette could potentially be referring to Abracadabra, we don't really know for sure. So if these villains were to appear, and I'm talking about speedster villains over here, when in the season would we exactly see them? Now, one special episode going into season 7 that we will be getting is the 150th episode of the show. And over there they do tend to do some like special episodes with tons of returning characters and various other stuff like that. Just like what Arrow did with its 150th episode. They did kind of reflect on their past seasons with that documentary type episode. So there could also be a chance for this 150th episode for The Flash getting tons of returning characters as well. So we could get good speedsters return, such as like Kid Flash, Jay Garrick and stuff like that. And we could also get Zoom or potentially even Savitar show up at some point. That would just be insane. I would absolutely love to see that, because it won't be too much of a surprise if we do see Reverse Flash appear, since we already know that would happen. And don't get me wrong, he is still the best Flash villain and it would be awesome to see him regardless. but we should also expect like Zoom and Savitar to potentially make an appearance as well, and this would just shock the fans as well. So I do really hope that we do see Zoom or Savitar return, but other than that, I don't really know who the surprise returning characters could be, and obviously they are villains, so it could be anyone we could think of. But seeing from the fact that she mentioned favorite villains, I would assume that she's talking about speedster villains, but as I said again, we don't really know for sure. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys think about all of this. Do you guys think it is possible that we will see Zoom return or even Savitar return? And also be sure to tell me in the comment section down below who do you guys think this favorite returning villain is. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.